Usher, how you doing? How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Allow me to reintroduce myself, right? How y'all
I like
doing?
the hat, man. What's going on with the hat, sir?
Oh man, no cap.
But it's like puffy.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
Is this a brand? Is this a Usher brand? No.
No. Just I just want to let y'all know I'm a big stepper, and also too, no cap.
Baggy is back in. Like you're all the way baggy today.
Thank you, man.
Big jacket, big pants, big hat.
Yeah, big everything. You're looking real little over there.
How you doing, brother? You ready?
I'm great. How y'all doing? Wonderful.
All right. I really want to take it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, born in Dallas, but when did Atlanta come into the equation?
Well, you missed a step. So Chattanooga, it happened after my mom had me at Baylor Hospital in Dallas.
Okay.
I was raised primarily in Chattanooga until about 11, 12. We moved to Atlanta. My mom, and her husband at the time, my stepfather, their business brought him to Atlanta. But there was a grand opportunity for me to, continue to, build my career. I started in Chattanooga, but then after that, went as a solo artist and then began to build this career. Atlanta welcomed me with open arms. Not many people know that I'm an honorary member of the Dungeon family. So that was like my first stop.
R.I.P. Rico Wade.
Rico Wade and Ray and Sleepy Brown and Marquez. They welcomed me with open arms, just being able to understand this Atlanta culture. And I got a snapshot of it in a real way. I've always managed to fortunately be around the right people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Understanding, and we all understand that, even as an effort with what, happens here in radio, it's a collaborative effort. It's not just one person's effort. It's all of us collaboratively working together. And my experience in Atlanta really started in that same way, to understand that this city represents a brotherhood that sometimes pushes each other, makes each other better. Sometimes it's competitive.
Yep.
Being on the Face Records, I was the recipient of, the vying for attention from producers, whether it was Dallas Austin or Organized Noise or JD. They was all vying for that number one spot. So, but that energy, that competitive energy, and also to sharpening of metal, iron versus iron, kind of made this incredible backdrop of what Atlanta had to offer. And man, that was the beginning of my career. The rest of it has been history and making. History and making.
And making, and still making. So I would say, when did Usher find his voice? Like, when did you start singing? Did you try to start singing and you was like, oh, la, 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 la? Like, talk to me. Like, what age was this? Did mom say something? Did she say, oh, wow, you can actually sing? Let's put you in some vocal lessons. How did that start?
There were many steps, right? Okay. There is the church that normally welcomes you to singing. Obviously, singing for a very specific reason.
Of course.
And then there's choir at school. Then there's talent shows at your schools, or either your local gymnasium or wherever you choose to go and try to be recognized. But that wasn't the place where I found my voice. I think I found my voice when I lost it.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you lose it?
So puberty.
It was cracking. It was like cracking, like you was going like 12, 13, 14.
It was right at 12, 12 or 13. I just signed my record deal with LaFace Records. Was working with Organized Noise, working with Tim and Ted, producers.
So you had the younger voice, and then it started changing a little bit down.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man.
Went a little baritone on you.
Yeah, it was. I was like a complete soprano, and then obviously graduated to baritone and tried to work my way back up. But I think I began to find my voice when I lost it, because I had to rely on something more than just this God-given talent. I had to work for something. I had to work with talent, choreographers. I had to work with vocal coaches. I had to work with, people to try and figure out what was going on with my voice, because I couldn't put the clown or whatever you might call it back in the box. It was like, wow, it's out. Okay, you got to figure this out, and we got to figure out how to make certain that I don't lose this one opportunity.
Okay, so 8 Grammys. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. 8, right? 8. Correct me.
8 of which I've never received one in front of the world.
Wow. Ooh. Nominated 15 times.
Huh?
Nominated 15 times, 16
Man,
times?
this gets deeper, huh? You just made it steeper.
But out of these Grammys,
Time for the
was
Black
there,
Collective in the building.
I know you won 2 for Confessions. Out of the Grammys you won, which one was like the most meaningful to you? Do you have one?
You know, maybe for a later conversation, I'll have something deeper to say.
Okay.
Other than the fact that these establishments have had a very specific way of recognizing talent in artists. Some they made right, some they've gotten right.
Right.
I think maybe I was just in the wrong category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one was a pop rock, and then one was soul R&B.
Yeah. Or best male vocalist from an artist who lost his voice and had to figure out how to get back from losing it. So it was a real journey. I mean, if I have to just kind of look at it as it is, in a time where, we're kind of losing, or we've lost the grasp of vocal ability in some categories, maybe even in the ones that are more significantly minority than others, where auto-tune is taking over. So for me not to be able to walk on that stage and receive that moment, it means something more to me, but it also too means something significant for what I may even perceive as, a genre that might be at times overlooked and maybe put in a very specific category or specific space. Maybe because it doesn't have the necessary support that it needs, or either the stereotype that says, oh, these records are just R&B. No.
Put it over here.
Yeah, no. This is, and maybe sometimes those songs have a way of making it through the system, and then they then are worthy enough to then get to a top 40 format and for the world to see it. But it probably is a stain, and maybe something that I'm trying to make certain that I at least instigate as a conversation about that category, or either about the fact that maybe the Grammys at times maybe hasn't necessarily given it or gotten it right at the right times, with all of the hard work that, was put into Confessions. I think it probably should have won Album of the Year.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it didn't. And, maybe not even just selfishly, it sounds very self-serving to have that conversation, but there's many other artists who I think, are classic, legendary artists, that probably didn't get their recognition and their, due award and accolade for their work in a time when they were either pivotal and they were establishing their voice and establishing who they were and what they would, offer to the world as a standard. So I would just take Grammys off the table for 2 seconds and just say, I'm happy to have 8, but maybe the number 9 is the one that will make the difference in the world to me.
Right.
I think I love the people who actually are working on the board. I don't like them. I know them, and I know that they are fighting to change those standards. I know that they are fighting, and I'm trying my hardest to support their efforts, not only just because I think they're incredible gatekeepers for our industry and are very significant and are advocating for, minority music, black artists, but those who are in power maybe need to understand the full picture. And maybe there's some things that we can do collectively to be able to support and help them understand how important this is as a standard for a young black boy who's just like me, who probably needs something to believe in. And if he doesn't see that win, he probably goes in the wrong direction. He says, well, if a Grammy is what it takes to win, well, he didn't get a Grammy. Well, he didn't get a Grammy. Well, I didn't see him get a Grammy. Did he really get a Grammy? So I don't know. Maybe for another conversation.
I appreciate your transparency on that. Now, you brought up an interesting note when you were talking. You said auto-tune. Now, you came up singing in the 90s where you really had to sing. It was really about a good live show. Now, I do know live shows have the auto-tune on the mic, and I get that part. But you really had to sing. Do you think that the 90s, coming up in the 90s, in the R&B vibes is different now? Is it a little easier to be an R&B artist now?
I'm a bit confused by your range of questioning.
So, do you singing? Did you really have to be able to sing in the '90s versus now?
Yes, that's the first one. What's the other one?
And do you think it's easier to be an R&B artist now?
It all depends on what you consider an R&B artist.
An artist of your stature now. You living legend, my brother. How does someone be like an Usher?
I mean, there's not a lot of them, And
It's fast. We clap that up. We clap that up for sure. We clap that up for sure.
But I think, Prince may have put it best when he says, use the machine, don't let the machine use you. And that's not against the idea of us, moving forward to allow technology to assist us in a way that allows us to be revolutionary and create new ideas and new heights of creativity. But when the actual tone and spirit of soul music is compromised by something that is getting in the way, where I can't feel what's coming through as a vibration, that becomes a problem.
Speak on.
It becomes easy to disregard the work that people have to put in order to be that great.
Yep.
Those lessons, from Jan Smith, those lessons, from Nick Cooper, those lessons from Gary Katona, those lessons, when you're admiring incredible artists like Luther Vandross or Donny Hathaway or, Michael Jackson as an incredible singer or any of them, listening and being inspired by them, then it's kind of almost disregarded because now I compare this thing that gets me to perfection without work. That's not to say that it's not fun to use it, but that ain't an R&B artist to me exact. Now turn that off and let me hear you sing.
So yeah.
Let me hear if you can really hold a note live, because that's what this is about. These songs that you guys are playing are great for the live experience because I want to be able to feel that artist. I want to be able to be in a room with an artist who sings in a microphone and I feel it, right? Not just listen to it. That's half of it. The other side is to be able to, it's like we in church. You better speak.
That's Heather, by the way.
But to be able to feel soul music, because I'm a soul artist, I don't know if I categorize myself as an R&B artist, pop artist, because I do everything, and I've been successful at all of those things. But I am soulful in how I deliver music. 5,000 takes later, if you ask Brian Michael Cox, who's in the house in the back,
Time for Brian
who
Michael
understands
Cox.
what it takes.
Yeah.
To get to perfection, even when they're like, yo, you got it right. I'm like, nah, the feeling matters. What I was singing, it needed to connect. That level of detail of artistry is something that mattered to me because I seen the people who I admire do it. I watched them sometimes do it. I was able to look at, documentaries that allowed me to see their process and how they did it. But yeah, it was much harder to be recognized and celebrated as a incredible vocalist back then.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get a pass and for you to be confused about what R&B is when we've now allowed the lines to be so clearly blurred that hip hop is R&B when R&B was the fuel for hip hop always. Still to this day. And rhythmic, algorithms that then make you feel something, because our music is about a feeling. I don't mean to get too deep. I don't know how much time
Please
we
get
have to talk
deeper. Come
about
on.
this. But I'm saying, like, really, to be able to feel the music, that's what it's about. I think that we've gotten so caught up in just what we like that we don't love anything anymore. We don't take the time to fall in love with music and like allow it to speak to us and make us feel something, whether we, are vulnerable and we're, honest with ourselves. The songs help us be honest. We might lie to ourselves because we can. We can live behind the facade and the anonymity of, of a profile, right? But, it's like we got to get back to something that's real and allow that to not get lost in the fray of what's going on as we are just starting to exchange, TikToks and small little snapshots of what it is to be. And I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying that's just a fragment of what it is. it works for us. But, I challenge all artists to do what I'm doing. Like, hey, go to, Tiny Desk and sing and perform, and then allow them to, they're gonna meme that. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, do that and let that be the standard, because that's what it's about. It's about a live experience. I'm not just listening to your music to just have a celebrated moment at the house. I mean, somebody might put it on Making Love, but I'm just saying, for the most part, I want to see you live, and I want to hear you, and I want to see you committed to me as a performer. I'm paying you my hard-earned money. You better entertain me. You better make me feel something, and most people don't have the money to be able to just frivolously buy a some odd $1,000 ticket. So if you're going to do it, I'm going to entertain you. I want to give you, yes, me. If I'm going to make you come to this place to see me perform, entertain me. Yeah.
All right, so I got a game. Y'all ready for a game? All right, you got to get louder than that. All right, bro.
I'm sorry, I'll just get deep. My bad.
No, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Let's change this shit up. He's just getting too deep up here.
All right, so look, Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
ATL. Like you said on that Super Bowl stage.
Yeah.
I got a game for you. Usher's top 3 chicken wing spots in ATL. Take your time.
Top 3?
Don't forget, these cameras, you getting clipped up. So this is going to go everywhere.
Absolutely.
Your top 3 chicken wing spots in Atlanta.
Ooh, okay. Let me give you 1. JR Crickets.
Boom.
Ooh, let me give you 2. American Daily.
Okay. Which one? Which one?
Are they all different? Is that
Yes,
what you
they
said?
are.
Really?
But you said American
I
Deli.
can't
Give
really
me one
let
more.
you know where I go in my private time. They say private eating is public information. You know what I'm saying?
Give me one more.
Let me see. Man, I mean, I guess I'm trying to change standards, and actually the beautiful part about what I'm doing as an entrepreneur is trying to find a story within a story. Meaning you find a brand and then you create something significant in a region that really does speak to that region, so that they feel like they're getting something special. So I'm going to say Dave's Chicken, but it ain't been developed yet. I'm developing it.
Who's Dave's Chicken? Who's Dave?
It ain't here yet. I'm saying I'm developing
But who's
it.
Dave?
Usher's Dave Chicken.
So it's going to be your chicken spot.
It's one of my chicken spots.
Fire.
Yeah.
What side of town is going to be on?
It's going to be in a couple places here in Atlanta and Chattanooga.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you know I got to go here.
But
man.
otherwise, Wingstop. Okay.
Wingstop? Okay, all right, cool. Wingstop.
But I was going to say Magic City. I didn't.
You know Magic going to say something.
I didn't know if any of you guys have ever been to Magic City. All who have been in Magic City, raise your hand. Oh, damn.
These are 2 hands.
The conservative white people in the middle of the room were like, not me. But Magic City definitely gives you them lemon pepper wings. Lemon pepper hot wet, baby. That's it.
Okay, so congratulations on performing on Super Bowl 58. Clap it up for that, please. Now, for the first time in my adult life, I didn't know that people didn't get paid to perform at the Super Bowl. However, I do know that it creates a lot of awareness for the artists, and I saw how your streams went up like 2,000% or some crazy number. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, what went into the planning? Because I know you had to invite certain people couldn't come. So I know people probably hit your phone like, man, we got like 10 songs together. Why I ain't come to the Super Bowl? You may have my boy JD on there with them Louis Vuitton socks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
How long did it take you to prepare
man.
for Super Bowl 58?
Well, I absolutely curated the show that I wanted to.
Fire.
And everybody that I reached out to was very receptive. There were some people who were not able to make it. You might have heard through the grapevine behind.
Can you say who those were?
Nah, I ain't gonna do that.
Okay.
But I will say the other part is, it was Las Vegas, so dealer's choice. You know what I'm saying? The 15 minutes that, everybody has their 15 minutes of fame, right? This was 30 years in the making. So to be able to curate an overall story that not only represented my legacy, but there be very obvious indications of artists who inspired me inside of what I was doing, that's really left to you to kind of find. Maybe someday somebody will do a breakdown and analysis of all of the things and references that I did there. That was my love letter inside of what I did with the Super Bowl. I hit a lot of very specific personal things for the people whom I respect.
We thank you too, because you represented Atlanta very well in that performance. Thank you. I want to talk about Usher the Businessman. Because I remember one day I was watching the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won the championship. And I was like, Usher is there. Why is Usher at the Cleveland Cavaliers game? He need to be at the Hawks game. And I look it up. I was like, oh, he's a minority owner for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a smart business move. Yeah. What made you get into this type of thing? Because you can't just, it ain't an application to buy an NBA team, is it? How do you buy an NBA team?
No, it's not easy to get, but it's not impossible. Okay. And I mean, as you see what's going on with Ice Cube, when we begin to think outside and begin to create establishment and ideas of our own, it's a result of they're being able to be minority shares in teams. Okay. That then becomes something. But for me, Cleveland has always been an incredible source for music. If you think of the music history of Ohio, and and the incredible things that happen there, so I was very happy to be ushered in to this opportunity to be a part of an ownership group.
Did you try the Hawks first?
They were not available or offering. Okay. At the time. They later were. Okay. And I had to then make a decision. I ain't gonna give you that kind of information. Sorry. Overshare. But it would be great to do more incredible things with teams in Atlanta, don't you think?
Thanks.
And if I could diversify, I will.
Okay. How do you feel about the WNBA and ladies sports coming to the forefront? Because this for the first time I watched the WNBA draft. I watched the March Madness. The females was more excited than the males. Could Usher potentially dibble and dabble in the WNBA?
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just as excited and a fan of what I was seeing with the WNBA. With March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness. Yeah.
And man, it was amazing. Yeah. I think that. Vegas has had an incredible run with the WNBA, and very happy to have been in Vegas when they won. Yeah, that's fine. The championship is really dope to be able to celebrate with them. But yeah, I think that in the event that there was an opportunity to be a part of a WNBA team, I would love to do something like that. I would love to be a part of those kinds of things. Okay. I may have a little history where it worked out for me in it, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I have a little bit of experience, but yeah.
Appreciate that. Now, when Usher's having a bad day, what does Usher do?
When Usher's having a bad day?
Do you have bad days? Like, does that something bother you? You get stressed out sometimes? Maybe everybody's pulling on you at one time. Like, what do you do? Do you meditate? What are things that you do to prevent bad days? Like, how do you handle stress?
You won't let me answer the question. Yeah. I mean, we all have what we perceive as bad days. Yeah. And, the idea of kind of being in what I call a beautiful state of being, and this idea of beautiful state is you electing to not pay attention to what's going on outside, because you have to understand that everything that is happening before you is a matter of something personal with you. We are mirroring our experience. Deep philosophy, but things that I just picked up over time, and understanding that all suffering comes from self-centric thinking. It's something that you are bothered with, that you have to deal with yourself. So that thing that's presented itself that seems like an obstacle in a moment, if you can grit and bear through it and maybe understand what you are able to learn in this moment, you move forward and you won't suffer over that thing again. That's how I deal with it, that bad day. Otherwise, every day I choose to try to have a moment to myself. I think that it's important for us as humans to have moments to reflect by ourselves, whether you choose to make that moment something where you're praying to God or whatever your religious beliefs are. That's a really good start. But I think in addition to that, you should take time for yourself. You should take time to be able to hear yourself. You should take time to be able to nurture yourself, not look outward to be able to fix what's going on inward. You know, have time to yourself. Every day, at least 20 minutes, right? Right out of 24 hours, you could choose to take, 20 minutes to just think about self. It'll heal you. It'll heal you day by day. And ask yourself some of the hardest questions. And then ask yourself, do you forgive you? And if you're saying yes, then eventually you'll get better. If you're saying no, then that may mean you need to do a little bit more work. Go look in the mirror. Get to know yourself. Get acquainted with yourself. That's how I do my hard days.
Thank you. The beat just got bigger. Usher Raymond on 96.1. The beat.